Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is a special edition of Into the Weekend with BetDSI. We're doing this on Tuesday afternoon. We're going to finish up the rest of the bowl games right now, of course, with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. Brent, thanks for being back with us.
Good to be with you, Peter.
All right, thanks for doing this special call, finishing up the bowl games. First two games I want to ask about, of course, are the college football playoffs. Florida State, Oregon. Florida State, for the first time this year, a big underdog, right, to Oregon. Has the public been betting against Florida State here now that they're a big underdog? I don't know. What's the action that you've taken on this game?
The action's actually been really good, which is no surprise. I mean, the early bowl games, or the later bowl games, was not as much, but this game's obviously getting a lot of attention from both public and sharp guys. My money is about 2-1 in favor of Florida State. My count is about 2-1 in Florida State. I got sharp guys all over Florida State, put it that way as well. I had, a real sharp guy who bought the point when it was 9.5. He took Florida State plus 10.5 minus 25 there. I've got guys who took Florida State plus 9 minus 0.5 and plus 9 minus 110. We're sitting at 8.5 right now. Like I said, my count and money both favor Florida State. So I've gotten decent, what you would call, more public money, I guess, on Oregon than anything else. But I have zero sharp action on Oregon, only sharp action on Florida State, Peter.
Okay, there you go. Sharps loading up on Florida State. Not a surprise to me there. And then the second game, Ohio State, Alabama. Are the Sharps loading up in the underdog in that one as well?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I've got decent, I got decent money both ways on this. My count is pretty much even. My money is pretty much even. If you just look at straight bets, I've got more, my more wager count on Ohio State. If you look at the parlays and stuff like that involved, I got more Alabama, and in the end, my money's basically dead even, so we're pretty good there. I've got a lot of money on the under, but nothing really sharp in that game at all. We're at 58.5 right now. Right now we're using Alabama 9, 58.5, and like I said, the numbers pretty much work so far, sitting at 9. Whether our count's even, money's even, so we're in a good position on that one.
And then before we get to the action from the rest of the card in general, I do want to ask you about the East Carolina-Florida game. Kind of a typical late bowl scenario here where you have Florida on a down year playing Eastern Carolina. No doubt they're going to be, excited to try to steal a win from a top SEC program here. The line is not huge, though. It's just 6.5. So, I'm just wondering, did the Sharps bite any which way on this game?
Yeah, we're at 6.5 now because the sharp money did come in on East Carolina.
Okay.
The early action was on East Carolina, and it was sharp. Actually, plus 8.5. It came that early. And I also actually have money on East Carolina on the money line plus 220. So I've got a couple of different guys, both on East Carolina. Money line to win outright plus 220. East Carolina plus 8.5. My money is about 2-1 in favor of East Carolina right now, and my count actually slightly favors Florida, so you get an idea. It's mostly public money on Florida. Definite sharp play on East Carolina, though, Peter.
So basically a sharp public split. Anyone wondering if the Sharps bit on East Carolina early? They did. All right, and then what can you tell us about the action from the rest of the bowl games through the end, through the Arkansas State game?
Well, going through, starting with the stuff on Wednesday the 31st, I mean, those three games are decent matchups. The lines are all pretty respectable, as you expect in the bowl games. Just really, really big volume. Mississippi, TCU, nothing really, nothing very sharp on the game at all, but I've got decent big bets on TCU minus 3. I've got decent big bets on Mississippi minus 3.5. So, I mean, right now my money slightly favors Mississippi, so the line might drop a little bit, but I don't think so. We're sitting at 3 and 3.5 seems to be working for us. We might have to go 3.5 dog 15 or down at TCU 3 minus 15, something like that. But right now, this number seems to be working as long as it doesn't land 3, I guess. But real good volume on that game. Boise State, Arizona is another case. I've got money pretty much dead even. My count is about 2-1 in favor of Arizona. I've got what I would call decent money on Arizona minus 3, minus 0.5, but I've got very sharp money on Boise State plus 4, minus 15. So we're sitting at 3 right now, and pretty much balanced, like I said, in terms of the money. So it's all about the number there. The 3 minus 0.5 was sharp. The plus 4 minus 15 was sharp. But I do definitely have a sharp action on the total this game, Peter. Right now I'm sitting at 67, but I had sharp money on the Arizona game under 69. A different player came in under the 68, and we're sitting at 67 right now. So that's definitely a sharp play there. Last game of the day there would be Mississippi State and Georgia Tech. Again, decent money, good volume. I've got Mississippi State minus 6.5, minus 15 right now, on a total of 61. We had sharp money on Mississippi State minus 6.5. Had sharp money on Georgia Tech on the plus 7. So again, it seems to be all about the number. Down to Auburn now. Auburn is definitely sharp action. I've got Auburn minus 6.5 against Wisconsin. Sharp money came in on Auburn minus 4.5. Game in on -6, and we're really one side on Auburn right now. Peter, I need you to open up your bankroll and put some money on Wisconsin, please. We're sitting here, let's say we're at 6.5 right now, but my count's about 3-1 in favor of Auburn. My money's about 5-1 that way as well. So definitely sharp action there. So I'm hoping maybe they'll have a bad one there. Going down to Michigan State and Baylor, we're sitting at Baylor -2.5 and 69.5 right now. I've got sharp money both ways on that game as well. The 2.5 on Baylor was sharp. I had +3 even money, which was sharp. And so we're kind of just sitting at the number 2.5. Might have to bounce back and forth between 2.5 and 3. Nothing but under money on this game, which might be surprising when Baylor's involved. But we're at 69.5 right now, starting at 72. People just starting betting the under. So he's moving down, tick down to 69.5 where we are now. Nothing particularly sharp, but decent bets anyway that we had to move off of course. Minnesota and Missouri, counts about 2-1 in favor of Missouri. Slight money favoring them as well, but just not a whole ton of volume on that game there. We covered the Florida State-Oregon game, and I would call Houston Houston and Pittsburgh. I would call that kind of a respectable bet on Houston. Houston +3 -05 was sharp. We're using 3 -10 right now. That's decent action there, but not a whole lot of volume on these games for the second so far. Iowa was another one, what I would call respectable money. The +4 was sharp. I'm using +4 -15 right now. Again, not a ton of action. My money slightly favors Iowa. My count slightly favors Tennessee. So the 4 is getting enough public money to offset the one, respectable bet that we took on Iowa there. UCLA, we're sitting at 2 right now. There's 2 and 1.5 out there. UCLA versus Kansas State, and the count slightly favors UCLA. My money's about 2-1 in their favor, but again, nothing real notable there in terms of sharp action. Moving down to Oklahoma State, Washington. We've got Washington -6 right now. Count 3-1 in favor of Washington. Money's about 2-1 there. Not a bit really sharp though. We touched on East Carolina sharp, and down to Toledo, the last game on the board. That's on January 4th. Toledo -3.5 right now. We took respectable money on 2.5 and 3 on Toledo, so we're up to 3.5 right now. Pretty much all one-sided there. Nothing, nothing that I would call, big action for sure. But the action that I did take was respectable on Toledo. Like I said, 2.5 and 3. So I would say the Boise State under 69 and 68 was sharp. Auburn 4.5 and 6 was sharp. The sharps are all over Florida State. And like I said, it started at 10.5 -0.25, +9, +905. East Carolina +8.5, and the money line was sharp. And respectable stuff, what I call like pseudo sharp, would be the Houston +3, Iowa +4, and Toledo anything around 3 or less.
All right, and all that pseudo sharp action, are those from accounts that are winning accounts, or just accounts that like break even long term?
No, the pseudo accounts are guys that are winning accounts that they just not qualified for the list yet. But right. Guys who, if I had to pick a side, I'd want to be on their side. Put it that way.
All right, what can I say? Awesome information as always, Brent. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you again Friday for the NFL wildcard info. Right?
All right, talk to you later, Peter.
Okay, thanks.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.